Hey Clint, welcome back.
Hey, thank you for having me again.
Clint, Heritage continues to execute on its business plan, and why don't we start with an overview of some of the recent events that you've announced?
Sure. So when we first started coming in and talking to you, we were talking about the existence of one subsidiary, one LP, and talking about how we would like to expand our company. Since then, we announced that we were signing a letter of intent with CANN, based out of Fort Erie near Niagara Falls, a very large facility, 122,000 square feet. We announced that. We closed that in early November in conjunction with a $7.5 million financing. Just before that, we announced that we were looking to acquire Pure Pharma, an extraction company based in Kelowna, British Columbia. We went through the process in the last few weeks of signing a definitive agreement, and then signed the entire deal this last weekend and announced it on Monday. So
right.
that deal's closed too.
Okay, so now you're definitely in the extraction business.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's taking a front and leading role in how our company is going to expand.
Sure, and one of the Pure Pharma members is joining your board of directors?
Yeah, today we announced Graham Staley, the CEO of Pure Pharma, is coming on board, taking a position being vacated by Brad Culver, who's helped us immensely for the last 5 years. Brad's going off in his other ventures, and Graham is a welcome addition.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, so then in 2019, it sounds like you've got this plan to become a revenue positive, even profitable company. And so tell me some of the steps you're anticipating to make that happen.
Yeah, revenue, profits, amazing. Yes, we are absolutely gunning to that right now. The expansion right now with extraction is happening both in British Columbia and here in Fort Erie. To both of our LPs will have beginning 2 extraction machines each. The supply of hemp that I talked about before, with the 1,600 acres coming inbound, that's been harvested, it's being dried, it's being processed out in Saskatchewan, and will be starting to be delivered in mid to late January.
And so you're ready to start extracting that upon delivery?
As soon as we get licensed.
Right.
Both CANN and Fiamet, our 2 LPs, have applied for their extraction licenses.
Okay. There's not a big long lead time on those generally.
Well, that's kind of the unknown right now. It goes into Health Canada. It gets looked at when they decide to look at it. So we're hoping that'll be sort of the same timing as we're getting ourselves set up. We expect the machines to be installed and running by end of January, mid-February, somewhere in that neighborhood. A bunch of things still need to happen with power in particular, and cooling, but that's just all trades and scheduling. So right now, everything's looking good. That if everything goes according to plan, we'll be extracting by call it mid-February. Product needs to go to the lab, be tested, and ready to be sold by towards the end of Q1 2019.
So you were saying earlier that there is a real shortage of available CBD supply from extracted cannabis in Canada, and that you're seeing a lot of demand for your product. So you found this 1,600 acres of hemp to process. Are there going to be more opportunities like that going into 2019, or will you have to rely more upon your own feedstock?
So everyone's well aware of the supply shortage everywhere. You're seeing the lack of retail stores in Alberta and Ontario being awarded because there's no product to be had virtually anywhere. Dried flower is one that's tough to put on shelves. But in particular, CBD oil for medical purposes is really difficult to find. It's being challenging right now for medical patients, people who rely on it. It's quite unfortunate. Because of the reputation that the guys from Pure Pharma have with the quality of product that they put out in the past, we've had quite the demand for and quite an interest level from many other LP partners. Our goal is to be mostly a wholesale white label provider, and yeah, we're having some conversations right now to see how we go to market.
Okay. What are the big catalysts in 2019 that are going to, sort of broaden the business exposure of the company?
First and foremost is completing the first grow that's going on right now. The deal we announced previously with CANN Trust, they provided us with the genetics, and the grow is going very well. The plants have been thriving inside Canacure. We're completing our greenhouse build, our first setup of the greenhouse build out in British Columbia. They'll be ready for growing towards the end of January, when we'll be bringing in clones there. And all at the same time when we're setting up our extraction units in different areas of the facility, both in BC and Ontario. That'll start driving how the extraction market works. Bring in the hemp, put that through the process. We're in active talks with several hemp suppliers. There's some good opportunities out there right now. It needs to be vetted a little bit more. But that's all part of our business plan that leads us into a pretty strong Q2, where Q1's mostly a prepare ourselves and just get ourselves going. It's going to be but a big ramp up starting in Q2, going through 3, going through 4. And it's continually to grow, continuing putting in more extraction units, getting more supply, as we believe that the market for particular CBD oil, but also THC, will become very large once Health Canada lets us know what's going on the edible side, which we're expecting to hear soon. Right.
The allowance of growing cannabis outdoors in Canada is something that the Canadian government has been very sort of clear on moving toward. And is that where you see that you might have more opportunity to acquire the output of other growers as opposed to having to grow it yourself?
Yeah, I sure hope so. The actual outdoor grow, the first one was announced a little while ago, a few weeks ago. If indeed there's the success that happens with the outdoor, or for that matter, even the large greenhouses, if they can start giving us that kind of an inbound supply for our product, that's amazing to us. This is exactly what we're looking for growth. You'll see Canada is going to become even more of a leader than we are considered today on the overall cannabis market if we can start producing that kind of volume to be brought in. It'll be a game changer.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you think that there's going to be a shift in the quantity of cannabis grown as farmers, who might now be growing, rapeseed or flax or barley, sort of look at the cannabis space and go, I think I'm going to plant cannabis this year since I'm allowed to? Do you think that's going to be an increasing trend?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Farmers, when it comes right down to it, they're business people, and they take a look at a chunk of land that's what's the best utilization for it. There's some rules surrounding hemp. There's some rules surrounding cannabis. Your proximity to other crops, as they tend to pollinate and get growing in amongst other things. So there needs to be some space in between. But it's making a great opportunity for what otherwise would be a more challenging price environment on some other crops. Gives some pretty good opportunity.
Sure, you bet. All right, Clint, well, that's a great update. I'm happy to hear the progress as a shareholder, and so I'm looking forward to 2019. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.